some people might like, oh, you're slut shaming and you're promoting rape culture and you're not body positive and sex positive. But one of the ways I like that you kind of masterfully worked around that is you gave this anecdote of this guy that came up to you in the dorm. He's like, oh, so there's this girl I like, and she's not real modest. What should I do? And then you gave her some input, and then you contrast that to a girl who came to you to a very similar problem, but from a guy. Can you just share that anecdote with them of just how we need to be mutually responsible for each other?
Yeah. Whenever I wrote the book, I knew that I would not write a modesty chapter because I joke that I would rather two M words in chastity, masturbation and modesty. I would rather talk about masturbation than modesty because of the hate that we get. And because no matter what happens, people take it the wrong way. So I told my husband, I was like, I'm not writing about modesty. And he's like, okay. And then I was writing the book, and then all of a sudden he came up to me and he's like, how would you feel if I told you I think you're a coward for not writing about modesty in there? And I was like, a coward? And he's like, Sarah, if you don't write about it, they're just going to keep asking you. You have to just talk about it. And I was like, no, because the minute you start talking about modesty, all girls just go like this. And they're just like, no, shut your mouth. Right. Because we are so emotionally connected to our clothes. So in my women's talk, if I ever am asked to talk about modesty, I talk about the book, and the title of that chapter is called Don't Shoot the Messenger. So I basically talked about, we women, we don't, a lot of people say dress to protect the men, and it's yes, but also you are a feminine, beautiful woman. You dress for yourself. You dress for the confidence and the class and the beauty that you exude. One, and two, help a brother out. I've had so many guys that are I really like this girl, but I have to focus on her from the neck up so I don't use her from the neck down. And I have these beautiful men. Again, a lot of people think I just do female ministry. Half my emails, half my conversations, a lot of my ministry is actually from the men because they find in me a safe place to go with these questions. And the fact that they're struggling with the emotional virtue piece, and they're like, whoa, she gets it. I got to tell her I got to ask her all my questions. And that story in the book goes like this. I had this guy who came up to me, and the girl, I'll tell you the girl first. I get this a lot, but girls, she really liked this guy, and they were texting, talking for 6 months, and she finally came to me and she's like, what do I do? Do I ask him out? Do I approach him? Do I tell him I like him? He's not picking up any hint that I'm dropping, in some ways, drop all the hints, right? And this girl came to me, and so she went up to this guy. I was like, hey, it's been 6 months. I really like you. We text a lot. It seems like there's a lot going on emotionally, but what are we? And this guy looks at her and goes, oh, we're just friends. If you can't control yourself, that's your own problem. If you can't control your emotions, that's your own problem. And I remember she came back to report this to me, and I was like, he said what? I was I couldn't believe it. One, it's one thing to just be I see you as a friend. It's another thing to add that. And I was like, whoa. So again, I sat with that in prayer, and I was sharing it with some other girls, and she was sharing it with other girls, and I was watching their reaction, which was intense. So not 2 weeks later, it was a couple weeks later, I had this guy come up to me, again, college guys here at Benedictine. And this guy came up to me. He's like, I need your advice. And I was like, okay. He goes, there's this girl that I really like. She's amazing, holy smart, funny. I really like her. I'm like, good. And he's like, but she wears such low cut shirts and such tight pants. And Sarah, I really struggle because I don't want to use her. I don't want to use her, and I don't want to lust after her. But I find that I have to focus on her from the neck up, so I don't use her from the neck down. That's his whole mentality was I can't get to know her very well because I'm just distracted. And I told him and so he looked at me and he's like, can you talk to her for me? And I was like, yeah, I could, but I think it would mean a lot more coming from you. And he looked at me, he was like, no. And I was like, yeah, I think it would mean a lot coming from you. He's like, no. He was just cut my right arm off. I don't want to do this. And I was like, so I told him, look, let's get a piece of paper out. We're going to walk this through. We're going to talk this through. We're going to build a plan. So it was so cute. He busted out his notebook. He took notes, how he was going to say it, wrote it all out, practiced it with me, practiced it on me. And I was like, you got it. Go. Come back, tell me how it is. So I didn't hear from him for a while. So I was like, well, maybe the right time didn't come up. So a week goes by. And he comes to me, and he has the piece of paper all folded up, and he had this look of just total rejection on his face. And I said, how'd it go? And he handed me the piece of paper, and kid you not, handed me the piece of paper and said, I told her everything. I told her how beautiful she was and like how I care about her and how I don't want anybody to use her. And he went through the whole litany, and he goes, and she looked at me and said, if you can't control yourself, that's your own problem. And I mean, like, I just looked in his eyes, and like what I saw in his eyes was like utter defeat. And it was just like, he like longed to get to know this girl, and he longed to care for her and to like respect her. And she just couldn't hear it. And that's what, again, like I come to every woman out there. I come to like all the guys out there. I come to you in the name of peace and love and all things, because we are emotionally connected to our clothes. Like I will tell girls, like, you go through your wardrobe, and if you've ever been hit on or complimented in an outfit, you're like, oh, I'm wearing that every Friday night. You know,
that
like you're emotionally connected to your clothes. And guys too, I've heard this, from guys too. It's like, there's something that, so for me in my conversion, my wardrobe was the very last thing to go. Like, I mean, I was like daily mass in it, like all this stuff, but it was almost like my fear of almost like losing a part of myself. Do you know what I mean? It's like, gosh, but like, what is that going to do to like my confidence or who I think I am? Or like, what happens if this whole God thing doesn't work out and everyone thinks I'm a prude and like a pilgrim or something, you know what I mean? Like all this like worry about what's going to happen if I just let go of this like last thing. And so for me, one of the last things to go in my conversion was what I call in the book, it's called the Closet Challenge. It's my girlfriends and I came up with it in college, and we had a party. We were in a dorm, so it was a lot easier, but we went through all of our wardrobes, and we tried everything on in front of each other. Like we did a bunch of fashion show, like come out in your fashion show, and your friends got to decide whether it was modest or not you. And it was, we burnt like half of the wardrobe that was there. I mean, it was, and then we swapped, like some of us swapped, like this fits you, looks good on you, body type. Like, we took a lot of stuff to the thrift store, but like, I will just say this. It is so freeing to go to your wardrobe, to go to your closet and say to yourself, everything in this closet, like everything in there I can wear and have full confidence that I, Sarah Swafford, am respecting my husband, who I love. My joke is always save your sex appeal for your husband. He'll appreciate it. Like that's my joke, is like a lot of girls are like, but no one will ever think I'm sexy or like desirable again. I'm like, who are you trying to bait here? You know what I mean? Like, who are you trying to attract? And it's like, if it's something that you're trying to be like deemed sexy or something, it's like what kind of bait are you throwing? What kind of fish are you going to catch? Amen. And I think the other thing I want to throw out there is like this girl and I never knew who it was, the girl that told the guy like, hey, if you can't control yourself, that's your own problem. Like, I think about all the girls out there who are like, could a holy guy that doesn't want to use me please hit on me? Like, like how many girls out there that just knew that maybe there's some really good guys that really want to approach them, but they maybe are feeling intimidated or something, or maybe they're feeling like, gosh, like, just because maybe we wear something that to us is fine, but like really trying to think about like how we dress. Again, not just for the men, like we are beautiful women, we should respect and dress the way that we want to be perceived as classy and confident and holy and striving, but also just to understand, like to jump into the mind of a guy and be able to like, when you're dressed modestly, like you're so approachable, you're so, guys like feel comfortable getting to know you. And so I hate talking about modesty. I'm so glad you forced me to do it, because I think it helps people a lot, even though I think a lot of people always want to like kill me afterwards, but just hear me out. It's all from a place of love, and it's all from a place of just knowing, like for myself, that I could stand on my own 2 feet as a woman of God, and it didn't have to do with what people thought of my outfit or what people thought of how I looked. That was a day of like radical confidence for me, where I was just like, okay with not needing that, like that affirmation from men that I had. That was a place in my conversion where I feel like Jesus and I took it to like the next level.
Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that little clip, but if you want to see the whole episode where this came from, just click the link here. And in the meantime, we want to invite you to help us share this message, and there's a couple things you can do real quick. Number one, if you like or comment or share this video, YouTube will actually show it to more people. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. We release videos every single day, and you'll be notified as soon as those come out. If you want to help us also to spread this message, you can support us at patreon.com/JasonEvert. That helps us to create these videos and show them to the whole world. God bless.